All right, hello everybody. Believe it or not, it is October 12th, Wednesday, in this beautiful British Columbia in the town of White Rock. Unbelievable summertime. I was getting my vitamin D up until about 5 minutes ago. Now my D-Minder app has told me not. Big news today. I would argue to say this might be the biggest news ever, to be honest with you, and I don't know how they're going to take this, but we're going to get into it today. It is Anthony Stewart. This is Food for Thought. We are outside enjoying summertime in the fall here. And like always, we're questioning everything they've ever said. And, through my anecdotal N of one experience, I'm finding I'm feeling great every day, doing some things, focusing on nutrition, health, and wellness. And, this is what led me down this path. This whole mess over the last couple of years, you know what I'm talking about. I'm going to try not to mention any specifics because of, censorship, and I don't want to get any strikes, and I don't want to be political. I'm just going to throw some shit out there for you guys to make your own decision. And, like always, I want you to think. And I don't think we've thought enough about a lot of things. And this is just another example of this crazy world that we're living in. And, you got to be careful who you trust, everybody. I know I want to welcome some new people to the channel. And, thank you for joining us. We want you to be thinking. And, I'm going to share my opinions. These are my opinions. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a scientist. I have just been doing a lot of research over the last few years. And, it started off with, obviously, I was getting older and I wanted to feel better, but it turned into a little bit more specific. And I'm now, I'm deep into the weeds with a lot of stuff. And today the news, they came out and they said they admitted it. I'll put the link below. They admitted it, that they never tested for transmission. That was not known, they said, I'm not quoting directly. You can watch the video yourself. I'm sure it's going to go viral at some point. But they had no idea about transmission. And look what happened. That turned the world into frenzy because of this bad or pushed narrative that was not based on science. It was not based on anything except for maybe, propaganda, and somebody took it to attention. Now, it's not so bad, or maybe, if they made a mistake one time. But let's just look at a few situations in history where big X have made mistakes. We all know about the opioid crisis. That was a mess. Now, this probably one of the biggest ever, publicly anyway, was the Vioxx scandal with Merck. And, the big P, F, Z, you know what I'm talking about. They're the largest. They've got the largest lawsuit in the history of law, billions of dollars against them. You really want to be trusting these people like on their face value? Now we know now that they do their own research and they submit it to the powers that be to go over it. So the data is already flawed. Like, let's be real here. There's no justification here. You can't deny this. It is driven by financial agendas. Now, what else is and then, probably the biggest thing that I talk about with the people that I'm helping, coaching, whatever, is statins, cholesterol. We've built this great ship on the premise that LDL cholesterol causes heart disease. What if it doesn't? What if it's just reacting to your body's signals? I mean, I would argue on the side of, atherosclerosis is probably caused by oxidative damage, stress, and also, chronic systemic inflammation. So when you're trying to do these things, you have to look at the whole picture. And now you look at everything that's been going on. Statin drugs are the most prescribed drugs on the market. And they're based on that whole premise. Everybody in their 30s with high LDL cholesterol gets put on a statin. Is that for everybody? I would argue on the side that it's very contextual, very nuanced. everybody's situation, I would say that, first of all, LDL is not cholesterol. It's a carrier. It carries around nutrients and different things and cholesterol to your body. So that's falsely accused. Bad cholesterol doesn't really exist. And secondly, it's everybody's different. And your genes will dictate, the amount of cholesterol. Dietary cholesterol, 75% to 90% of your body's cholesterol is made. It's not even from what you eat. So there's so much shit out there. Now, they've also been wrong with the SSRIs recently. They've just proven that they don't work the way they thought they did. And we've been treating bipolar, anxiety, depression with this type of medication for a while, man. They're like super prescribed, and they were wrong about them. And so this is all face value. This is all sort of what I'm getting into. And also the Alzheimer's bullshit. I don't know if you guys have heard this, but they were wrong about that too. There was actually fraudulent, falsified data that based all Alzheimer's treatment of the last 20 years on this data that was actually proven fraudulent. So, you gotta always take things with a grain of salt. I encourage you to do your own due diligence, and who you trust is very, very hard to, before you put all your trust and all your faith into financial driven agendas, we have to look at these things. Now, I'm not even gonna get into what I've learned with nutrition and all this stuff. I mean, what if they're wrong? What if flat out we've been doing the wrong things, and now everything that we built our faith, trust, and dependence on is wrong? So that's what I want you to do. I want you to think. I want you to hear this stuff. And I want you to say, nutrition is nutrition. One of the books that I read that's hugely influenced me was called Metabolical by Robert Lustig. He's a pediatric endocrinologist, and he goes into detail about the flaws in the medical system, the flaws in big food, the flaws in big pharma. It's all tied together because, it's not what the food is, it's what they've done to the food. And he goes on about, processed food is the enemy, and, protect your gut, protect your liver, protect your brain, and heal your gut, feed your gut. They're great rules to follow. And they don't tell you that the damage that these vegetable oils, these seed oils do, the damage that sugar does, it's a poison. And yes, the dose makes the poison, and everybody's context is a little different. In your youth, you'll be a little bit more resilient to the glucose absorption, and your body's hormones work a little better. But, this comes down to a lot of stuff they don't tell you. And what they deem safe does not necessarily take the test of time. And if you understand anything about nutrition science, guys, it doesn't exist. You cannot to find out whether broccoli does good things or bad things, you have to study broccoli. You can't just take a survey and say that. A lot of it is assumptions, a lot of it is correlation, and correlation does not mean causation. So you have to have a randomized controlled trial. You have to do an experiment. When you pose a hypothesis, you do an experiment, and then you get a conclusion. This cannot be confounding user bias, healthy user bias, unhealthy user bias. All these confounding factors are real. So you have to take everything with a grain of salt. And you know what? I'm not trying to ruin your day. I'm just trying to make you think. I'm trying to get you thinking for yourself. Use some critical thinking, some logic. Fat is healthy. It's been healthy for a long time. We vilified the wrong foods. And that's what, the problem is. You go to the supermarket, you shop in the middle. You're consuming poison is what it is. Anything with more than 5 ingredients, anything your great grandmother wouldn't recognize as food, anything that claims to be healthy for you. We all know I'm animal based. I'm a carnivore. I eat meat. Why? Because it's the most nutrient dense food that is species specific and human appropriate. So eating the meat and fat, it's done everything for me. I can't explain how good I feel. I just know there's no test for it. And I encourage you to find your own way. It doesn't have to be all or nothing. Little steps. Start making little changes. And be careful who you trust. And don't just blindly accuse. when someone says something, find out for yourself. Don't take it personally, but you find out for yourself. Due diligence is everything. I hope everybody has a fantastic day. Enjoy the sun if you're living in this city. And if I can help you, or if you have a question for me, if you value my opinion, which I appreciate, leave a comment below. And please, if you can, like and subscribe these videos. And if this can help anybody, if you find that these videos may help somebody, pass them on. Because we're trying to get this message out there that there is lots of ways to do things, but there are certain things that will drastically improve your health without a lot of effort, more so to the knowledge. So, like I said, think, use your critical thinking, use logic. I know sometimes it's hard. And then look at the outliers, the people that have no reason to care but start caring. That's interesting to me. So anyway, guys, have a great and wonderful day. Enjoy the rest of this summer, Vancouver, and stay strong.